she takes a picture, and in that picture is this ET. He puts the camera over in that direction, and everyone looking in that direction at that moment saw it. You can make contact with these civilizations, and you do not need the government. And that
Hi, what's up? Good evening, everyone. Alright, let's take a look at the total crypto market cap and Bitcoin to get the night started off. So we're attempting to break the fib level here, but so far it's looking like we still got a higher low above the previous wick here. So at least for the time being it's holding, but you can see a little bit of bearish momentum starting to build right here on the 4-hour MACD. And bearish momentum also growing on the 1 hour, except we're currently oversold, so that's also looking nice for holding at least. Yeah, we really don't want to see the total crypto market cap get a break below here because altcoins could definitely be in for a dirty dump at that point, but we're going to see what plays out here in the coming days. And on the half hour, the MACD also shows the bears losing strength and oversold right here, so I'm liking the looks of that. Okay, so weekly on Bitcoin, same things. The wick is still higher than the previous one here. Not liking the looks of the MACD though, that's still looking like the bears are gaining momentum for now. And the daily shows the bulls losing momentum. Not really look the greatest with that bearish engulfing candle here. So ideally what we're going to want to see is for Bitcoin to hold this 0.5 Fibonacci level of around $39,450. If Bitcoin ends up getting a break below here, altcoins are probably going to be getting a pretty bad beating in the coming weeks. I still figure that if we dump here further, that we're still going to get a nice alt season coming around. It's would give us better entry point, but it's going to be interesting to see. I'd be kind of surprised personally if we do break below here, but the price action's not really looking the greatest. Yeah, 1 hour shows the bears gaining a bit of momentum here, but we are oversold.
When I was a student, I'd write long essays that I'd work on for days, but now I'm writing short.
Half hour shows that the bears are losing momentum, at least, and the RSI is oversold. It's a smaller time frame though. Typically I like to see some 4-hour daily signals showing what's likely to happen. So we're gonna have to see what plays out in the coming days here on Bitcoin, but it's not looking the greatest based on price action, but we're still holding above the 0.5 fib level, which is the main thing that we want for now. So it's going to be interesting to see here. Alright, let's see how XRP's holding up over here. Uh, 4-hour got just a tiny little bit of bearish momentum there building. Wouldn't really be surprised if the RSI came down just slightly more on the 4-hour and bounced there, but we'll see. Yeah, XRP's looking alright. If Bitcoin ends up taking a dump, I figure it'll probably dump, and if Bitcoin rallies, probably going to be the same thing. XRP is definitely at a better entry position though. As you can see right here, during the 2017 bull run, we were down around 23-25 cents roughly. Rallied all the way to $3.30 in the run of just a couple of weeks there, so that was amazing. We haven't seen any price action even close to that yet this cycle so far. In my opinion, what we've got here looks more like the initial first spike that XRP had, and then we just got a nice little long consolidation here. Got the initial rally. It's been consolidating for weeks and weeks now. And now, just waiting to see if we get the beautiful explosion like we had during the 2017 bull run. So this is one asset that's at a great accumulation area at the moment. Typically, once we get under the 618 and lower is when I'll start to begin to accumulate an asset that I'm bullish on. So XRP already hasn't had much price action compared to last cycle, plus we're at a fib level that I'd be interested to accumulate at. So definitely interested in the looks of this here at the moment. And let's take a look at precious metals. I believe gold is actually looking pretty nice today. Oh yeah, you can see gold actually just got a nice rally, and we're trying to get that higher high that I talked about the other day. So on gold, ideally, we want to avoid dropping below the 1680 fib level. So that, or at the 1680 price level, or 1682 to be more precise, which would be the 382 fib level. So you can see we got a double bottom here, came down and wicked again. Looks like we got a triple bottom off the fib level, broke out of the channel, came down and just touched the top of the channel. Then we attempted to rally, got caught and broke the fib, came back, and now we're just attempting to form a higher high here. So as long as we don't form a low below here, looking good on gold. And if we get a high above here, this level, or a high above this level, we're going from looking good on gold to absolutely amazing on gold if we get a high above here. And quite a lot of upside potential on this asset, especially with the way that the markets are starting to go. There's unsurety on what's going to go on with stocks, and typically whenever people are unsure on market conditions, gold would be a safe haven asset. So that would be where people would store their money historically, so that it can basically preserve its value, which gold hasn't been that great at in the past few decades, honestly. So I personally feel like gold and silver have supposed to have been kind of suppressed asset classes. So if they end up getting a rally to true value, I think we could be in for a really interesting rally in the next couple of years on precious metals. So liking the looks of the daily, we got the bullish MACD getting some strength there, more momentum. 4 hour we did get up here and get oversold. Now we have a little bit of 4 hour bearish divergence, it looks like. And the 4 hour also shows the bulls losing momentum there. It is bearish momentum here on the 1 hour, but it's kind of flattening out for now, so that's looking alright. Maybe a slight pullback or some consolidation on gold before it continues its attempt at rallying higher. But as soon as we see that high above here or right here, I'm really loving the looks of gold at that point. Okay, let's see how silver's doing today. I'm really liking the looks of silver as well so far. On the month, you can see green candle starting here, which is right at that 382 fib level. The MACD actually shows white, so that shows that the bears are losing momentum. That's what we want to be seeing there. And the weekly, we actually got our first green in about 2 months roughly since we've seen our last green on the MACD, so you can see the bulls are attempting to gain some momentum there on the weekly. And the daily, I'm really liking the looks of that right there. So you can see that the MACD is gaining momentum, but it also rallied higher than this previous spike here, so that's what we want to be seeing. And a daily bullish engulfing candle for now, so the candle's coming up above the previous candle. The 4 hour could be looking a little better, but I'll take a look at the smaller time frames here. There's no bearish divergence yet, so that's good. It does look like the bulls are losing a little momentum there. And on the 1 hour, you can see the bears gaining momentum. Still no bearish divergence though, so wouldn't be surprised if we see a little consolidation on both gold and silver. But I also wouldn't be surprised if after that these assets continue to rally and form a higher high, which is what we want to see. And silver compared to gold is actually pretty far from the all-time high at the moment. So if I were to stretch my fibs based on, let's just see here. And let's just use this as my anchor point. And right at the absolute top here. So if that's the case, then we are attempting to break above the 618 at the moment. And so the 618, this is still around the level where I like to begin accumulating if it's under the 618. So personally, I think I might snag a little bit of couple of bars just to see what happens and see if the rally continues, because we're about half price roughly from the previous all-time high on silver. So that's looking nice to me right there. Plus the price action that I'm seeing at the moment, I'm also liking the looks of that. So both silver and gold I'm liking the looks of tonight. And let's take a look at the US stock market, the Dow Jones, also known as the US 30. Okay, so as we talked about the other day, we want to watch for a break of this support here, which is just hugging the support at the moment, so that's really interesting to see. Yeah, on the daily as well. And the daily MACD shows the bears are gaining momentum. We didn't get a low beyond this one yet, but if it continues to dump below here, I could see this MACD getting a lot of bearish momentum. Oh yeah, that 1 hour isn't looking great either. Bearish momentum continues to grow, attempting to bearishly engulf and break support. At least the half hour shows the bears losing momentum and we are oversold, but it's possible that it just consolidates and keeps stumping from there. So I'd be keeping a very close eye on to watch whether we bounce off support here or if this breaks. And if that breaks, let's see. At the least, if that breaks, I would probably be expecting 32,403. But I would probably more expect it to come down to the 382 fib level, actually, as this is just around the top of the previous rally, right before we got the March COVID dump. So if it were to come down and form support at previous resistance levels here, then at that point it would be looking a lot better, and we'd see at that point in time if it's looking good for potential bounce. But as soon as this support breaks, I'm not exactly liking the looks of the stock market personally. And let's see how the Nasdaq's doing. It looks like the Nasdaq is actually already done what the US 30, also known as the Dow Jones, is trying to do, and it did break support. So that really isn't looking great. You can see bearish momentum starting to grow on the weekly. Bearish momentum growing on the daily. Bearish engulfing candle. Clear break of support. We are oversold on the dailies, the only thing that looks alright at the moment, but honestly all the other indicators aren't really looking great. Yeah, 4-hour bearish momentum still attempting to grow, bearish engulfing. Nasdaq is not looking great. We do have some bullish engulfing here on the 1 hour, but with the higher time frames looking as sketchy as they do, I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out. Yeah, see right here, even on the half hour, it's still bearishly engulfing and attempting to continue down. So, Nasdaq's looking horrible, and US 30 Dow Jones looks like it's attempting to do the same thing as what the Nasdaq's doing right now, so I'm not liking the looks of the stock indexes today. Oh, and S&P 500 as well is attempting to do the same thing. Weekly bearish momentum growing. RSI is trending low. It's below those lows there. Daily bearish momentum growing. The RSI is oversold at the moment, but still not looking great the way that that bearish engulfing candle's looking at the moment. Same ordeal with the 4 hour, bearish momentum growing, bearish engulfing candle, 4 hour RSI is attempting to break below there. Absolutely none of the stock indexes look alright to me today. Now, with these stock indexes, as I've mentioned before, all that it takes is the Federal Reserve pumping out a bunch of money and putting it into the system, and then we could see a nice crazy rally and bounce. But if the Fed doesn't step in and we do continue to see basically blood in the markets, there's definitely potential for a lot of downside in the coming weeks. So that's something to keep in mind for the stock market. Now, stocks are pretty tied to crypto. I don't know if I'd say it's a perfect correlation, but I know that it's quite correlated. So whenever we have big dumps in the stock market, a lot of the time that will affect the crypto market. So let's just go back to Bitcoin here and see how that's doing in comparison to the stock market. Yeah, weekly bearish momentum growing. Attempting to bearishly engulf on the weekly. Daily MACD shows bulls losing momentum. Yeah, that 4 hour doesn't look nice either. 4 hour bearish engulfing candle attempting to break below support. And 1 hour bearish momentum growing. The RSI is oversold for now, but I'm just hoping that Bitcoin doesn't end up following the stock market and goes in for a dirty pullback if that ends up playing out, but a lot of the time that is what happens, so we're going to see what happens here in the coming days and weeks. Alright, let's see how AION's been holding up through the mess. Not actually looking horrible on the weeklies, looking like it's tempting to round out there on the candles. Okay, so let's check the 4 hour. It looked like it had attempted to get a little pump earlier today, but whenever Bitcoin was rallying, I'm assuming. And right back down to earth. Yeah, if Bitcoin ends up getting a dump, this is looking like there's more downside potential as well, which I don't want to see this break below roughly 9 cents here, because that would validate the pattern that I have for the parabola curve here. Yeah, and the 1 hour is not really looking the best either. RSI isn't oversold yet. Tiny bit of bearish momentum growing. Yeah, even on 15 minutes, attempting to bearishly engulf here. AION could be looking better as well. A lot of blood in the markets today by the looks of it. Precious metals is probably my favorite asset class that I've seen today. Both gold and silver is looking like it has some nice potential. And let's take a look at Doge and see how that's doing today. Anything else that you guys want me to check out for you today? If not, I might be calling it early tonight. Doge looks interesting. We got daily bullish divergence right here. But bullish momentum getting weaker. Been pulling back for a few days, attempting to break below the 13-cent bottoms. Yeah, if Bitcoin dumps, Doge is probably going to continue to the downside, which is crazy because we're already below the initial bottom fib level here. Out of all the assets that I've talked about today, Doge is probably at the best accumulation zone. Doesn't really get much more floored than this. Now during the bear market, yes, it will get more floored, but I mean, just look at that fib. We're right around the bottom here, like literally under where we had marked the bottom of the fib level, so I'm accumulating this asset at these levels. And let's take a look at the other dog token, Shiba Inu. Okay, daily bearish momentum slightly growing. Couple of days straight of just bearish momentum, not liking the looks of that. 4-hour bearish engulfing candle, bearish momentum attempting to grow. Yeah, if the market if Bitcoin ends up taking a dump, I think a lot of altcoins are going to end up going down with it. Not really liking the looks of the way that some of these candles are right now. Like here, the daily chart, that's 5 days straight of blood right here, and it shows slight bearish momentum even growing, so going to have to keep a very close eye on Bitcoin in the coming days and see how everything plays out, and the US stock market as well, since that'll have an impact on Bitcoin, which in turn affects the rest of the crypto market. out of all the cryptos that I've taken a look at today, Thor might be looking the best. The daily stochastic just got a little bearish cross here for now, but it's really tight, so it could attempt to cross back to the upside, but see what the other stochastics are saying. 4 hours, same thing, it's crossed bearish, but it is tight right now. It's potential we see consolidation or a little pullback, especially after rallying the way it did, but this asset's actually been looking amazing. It was down around, I believe that's, yeah, I'll go to the 4 hour and get a more precise view. Yeah, down around $15 to $20 at its low, and that was just on January the 6th to January the 7th roughly. And now we're up at 176, so I'm really liking the rally on Thor at the moment. I like the look of the 1 hour. We got a higher low. Stochastic is cross bullish. Had a little bit of bearish divergence here, but I'm assuming that that's just what played out into this tiny pullback here before continuation of attempting to rally. So Thor's kind of showing like it's not exactly sure which direction it wants to go, so I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it. But aside from the stochastic on the daily chart's just looking amazing. Nice beautiful rally, and it looks like it might be in a bull flag here almost. I like the looks of Thor personally at the moment. And power, the daily bearish cross is a little more significant, and same with the 4 hour. Definitely a wider cross here. The 1 hour for now is also crossed bearish. It does look like it's attempting to form a higher low though, like we seen on Thor, so I'll be keeping an eye out for that. And on the 15-minute, it looks like it's attempting to cross bearish as well, so power definitely doesn't look as nice as Thor does tonight. And these are both similar projects, so congrats to the Thor team on everything you're doing. Honestly, Thor's looking pretty nice to me still. I wouldn't be surprised if we see consolidation or a slight pullback, but I also wouldn't be surprised if this asset just keeps on rallying. Especially if the macro doesn't dump, if Bitcoin either holds where it is or continues to rally. I think this asset could be in for an interesting couple of weeks. Okay, CRV. Bullish momentum getting weaker, bearish engulfing candle, lower low on the weekly, came down to the 0.5 fib level. Daily bearish momentum growing, and it's literally just hugging the 0.5 fib level at this point. You can see slight bit of bearish momentum on the MACD growing. And bearish engulfing candle, but it's just holding on to that fib for now. And same thing on the 1 hour, bearish engulfing, and the MACD shows the bears are gaining momentum as well. And same thing with the 15-minute, it's not bearish momentum growing, so that's looking alright at least, but bearish engulfing at the moment. So this is looking like it is attempting to break the 0.5 fib level at the moment. And the RSI actually came below those lows, so CRV could be looking better. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one for the next few days to see how this plays out, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one sees more blood, especially if Bitcoin ends up getting any more downside. I think this will probably be in for a dump at that point. And let's see how Alliance Block is doing tonight. Same ordeal on Alliance Block. Weekly bearish momentum growing. Monthly shows the bearish engulfing candle here. The daily I'm at least liking the looks of the MACD. Bears are losing momentum on the MACD there, and you can see how many times this came down and touched the fib level. 4 hours shows both losing momentum though, and bearish engulfing for the time being. 1 hour bearish momentum growing. This one isn't looking as bad as CRV tonight, but I'd still proceed with caution here, as it's definitely looking like it's attempting to break the fib. Well, if there's nothing else that you guys want me to take a look at tonight, I'm probably just going to check out time and then call it a night. Our bullish engulfing, yeah, the bullish engulfing that we had is not looking that nice anymore. Oh. Guess the chart's glitching a little. So 1 hour, RSI is not looking great. Stochastic's not looking great. Oh. Daily stochastic's not looking great. 1 hour's not looking great. 15 minutes attempting to cross bearish on the stochastic. Time looks like trash at the moment. We had a nice potential here for it to rally. We had some beautiful bullish divergence right here on the daily. Just kept respecting the RSI. Candles just kept respecting that support level, and it looked like it was just ready for a bounce right around here, and then it just said nope and dropped below, and now it looks like garbage. So I'm going to wait for some more information to develop on this asset, but if Bitcoin dumps, I can definitely see time getting more downside. Alright, well, I'm going to call it a night, everyone. I hope you have a great night tonight. Well, hope you all do better than the markets, at least.